I gripped the edge of the vanity, my knuckles white, eyes locked on my reflection. The soft morning light slipped through the window, bathing the room in gold. It touched everything, my hair, the scattered makeup brushes, and the bridal gown. Hanging beside me, delicate lace sleeves, fitted bodice, a train that shimmered like water. It was everything I had ever dreamed of. 0.14. Today was supposed to be my day, but I could feel it, something dark brewing just beneath the surface. 0.27, a soft knock at the door. Linda? 0.30, I turned. Daniel stood there, halfway inside the room, face unreadable. That wasn't good. Daniel wore his emotions like a badge, joy, frustration, excitement, always visible. But now, nothing. 0.44. I set down my brush. What happened? 0.50. He stepped in and closed the door behind him. Your sister called me last night. 0.56. My stomach twisted. She's coming to the wedding, isn't she? I asked, already knowing the answer. 1.03. Daniel exhaled. Not just coming, she wants to walk down the aisle before you, in a wedding dress. 1.17. Silence. Deafening. A slow horror crept up my spine, and for one absurd second I nearly laughed. Of course. Of course. 1.25. Emma, the golden child. If she wanted something, she got it. If I wanted something, I got whatever was left. 1.45. Now she wanted my wedding. 1.48. I clenched my jaw. Bitterness rose in my throat, hot and familiar. And my parents? 1.52. Daniel sat on the bed, rubbing a hand over his face. They're backing her up. They think it's only fair, since she's older and hasn't married yet. 2.07. Only fair. That word had never once worked in my favor. 2.13. I breathed deep. And what did you say? 2.18. For the first time since he walked in, a slow, almost mischievous smile curved Daniel's lips. I told them I'd think about it. 2.27. I frowned. Think about it? 2.33. He leaned in, voice low. Linda, we're going to use this to our advantage. 2.42. I blinked. Daniel was kind, loyal, protective. But people always underestimated the most important part. He could be ruthless when it counted. 2.54. You really think I'd let this happen? He said, eyes narrowing. Let your sister hijack our wedding? 3 as I swallowed. Then why not shut it down? 3.07. If we say no now, they'll just find another way to sabotage it, he said. His fingers drummed against the bedpost. But if they think they've won, then we control the game. 3.21. A shiver ran down my spine. I knew that look. I'd seen it when he took down our corrupt landlord, when he caught a coworker trying to throw him under the bus. It was the look of a man laying a trap. 3.36. A slow smile curled across my lips. Tell me the plan. 3.42. He leaned in. We let them believe they've won. Let Emma think she'll have her moment. Let your parents think they're helping by paying for things. He paused. Then, when the day comes, she never walks down that aisle. 4.01. Vindication bubbled in my chest. Excitement. Power. 4.09. For the first time, Emma was about to learn what it felt like to lose. 4.16. I drew a breath. Steady. We let them think they've won. A dangerous game. If we misstepped, we'd be trampled. But if we played it right, Emma would finally understand what it felt like to be blindsided. 4.35. I met Daniel's gaze. All right. Tell me everything. 4.42. His grin widened. First, we give them just enough control to feel confident. Then, we tighten the leash until they can't back out. 450. I nodded. And my parents? 458. They'll follow Emma. If she pushes, they'll push. So, we let her push, just not where it counts. 509. This would take patience. Years of conditioning had taught me. Arguing with my parents never worked. I was always the villain, difficult, selfish, ungrateful. 522. But now, we'd use their own tactics against them. 527. The next evening, I sat across from them. Emma, my mother, my father. Same living room, same uneven power dynamic. My mother perched like royalty, hands folded, calm and cold. My father, arms crossed, expression unreadable. Emma practically buzzed with smug energy. 555. So, my mother said, smoothing her blouse, Daniel mentioned you were open to discussing the arrangement. Have you had time to think? 6. I smiled, tight, polite. Yes. 609. Emma perked up. I glanced at Daniel, played the part, and hesitated. Just enough. Just enough to make them believe I was breaking. You've got a seriously gripping narrative here, full of slow-burning tension, strategic manipulation, and the kind of poetic justice that makes readers want to lean in and sip their tea. Linda and Daniel are playing the long game, and you've made every moment feel like part of a tightly wound chess match. Here are a few thoughts that might help take it from juicy read to unforgettable story if you're continuing or polishing it. What's working brilliantly? Voice and tone. Linda's calm, composed inner monologue contrasts perfectly with the chaos she's orchestrating. It's calculated but still deeply personal, making us root for her even as she's pulling strings. Character dynamics. Emma is the perfect foil, entitled, clueless, and ripe for a takedown. Daniel's subtle but steady presence as a co-conspirator adds a lot too. It's rare to see a supportive partner character who actually helps execute the revenge. Pacing. The steady unraveling of the plan over chapters, or scenes, is excellent. You don't rush, and each beat lands with satisfying precision. Suggestions, totally optional. Build suspense, just a bit more in key moments. That 9:17. AM text? Amazing. Maybe stretch the seconds just before Linda sees the message to let the tension pop. Maybe she sees the name Mom and just smiles, knowing exactly what it is before opening it. Small clarifications could tighten the plot. Emma's dress wasn't ordered, and she refused to put anything in writing. Brilliant detail. Maybe show how Daniel got her to do that. We want everything to be fluid, no need for contracts, etc., just for extra believability. Elevate the final blow. When Emma realizes she's not walking the aisle at all, assuming that happens soon, that could be a cinematic moment. Maybe there's a confrontation, a scene where her voice cracks, where the facade starts to crumble in real time. Linda's emotional layer. Right now, she's ice cold and it's delicious. But even just a flicker of why she's doing all this, years of being overshadowed, being the responsible sister, could deepen her character. Doesn't need to be sympathy, just dimension. Are you planning to continue this as a longer piece? It's got serious potential for a full novella or even a sharp limited series vibe a la Big Little Lies meets Succession. I'd love to see what happens next, especially once the ceremony starts. Or doesn't. 1558 moment we had been. Waiting for I took a slow sip of my coffee before responding me. Oh no, that's 1606. Awful what happened. Her reply was instant mom. I don't know, Emma had texted at 4:13 p.m. I confirmed the order, but they're saying I didn't. Can you call them? I saw the message. I let it sit. I wasn't about to jump in and fix another crisis Emma had so carefully created. At 4:20 p.m., another message followed. Linda, please, this is a disaster. Still, I didn't move. I was getting ready for my wedding. I finally replied, "I'm so sorry, but I can't get involved right now. I'm sure Emma will figure something out." I could see it all so clearly. Emma, in front of a mirror, hair half done, yelling at our parents. My mom frantically calling the boutique. My dad already in his suit, barking orders to whoever would listen. Meanwhile, Daniel and I were exactly where we needed to be. At 10:30 a.m., Daniel got a text from his brother. "Bro, you need to see this." Attached was a photo of Emma's friends, standing outside the venue, confused and furious. Their invitations had never arrived. Daniel only replied, "That's so weird. Maybe they got lost in the mail." By now, my parents must have started piecing things together. Emma's dress had vanished. The guest list had been tampered with. But they were too busy scrambling to notice the truth. At exactly 12:15 p.m., my father called. I ignored it. He called again at 12:17. This time, I answered. "Dad?" I said sweetly. "Linda," he began, voice tense. "We have a serious situation. Emma's at the venue, but they won't let her in." I frowned. "What? That's strange. I told the venue only invited guests should be allowed in. Maybe she wasn't on the list." There was a long pause as he processed it. "You did this," he said, his voice dropping. I smiled. "Did what?" "You set her up." I tilted my head. "Dad, I've been busy planning a wedding. I didn't even handle the guest list. Mom did." In the background, I could hear my mother yelling, Emma shrieking. "Fix this," he demanded. "I'm the bride," I said coolly. "I don't think I should be dealing with this right now, do you?" "Linda, gotta go," I chirped and hung up. Daniel, who had heard everything, turned to me, grinning. "She's outside?" I nodded. "Perfect." While I stood in the bridal suite, serene, Emma was at the entrance, screaming at security. "This is my sister's wedding! Let me in!" One of the guards checked his clipboard. "Ma'am, if your name's not on the list, we can't let you in." She turned to my dad. "Do something!" But for once he couldn't. There was no proof, no emails, no confirmation, just his word, and that didn't matter anymore. Inside, the music began. I stood at the chapel doors, bouquet in hand, as my guests turned to see me. People whispered, they knew, but I felt something I'd never felt before. Freedom. I wasn't walking in Emma's shadow anymore. I caught Daniel's gaze. He looked proud. We did it. Outside, she was still screaming. Inside, I was finally free. The ceremony ended. We were married. And for once, Emma hadn't won. But it wasn't over. At the reception, whispers floated through the room. Some guests had seen the chaos. Others had heard. Everyone felt the tension. My parents stood near the entrance, faces thunderous. They hadn't even congratulated me. I wasn't their focus. Emma was. I squeezed Daniel's hand. He grinned. "Oh, I've been waiting for this." We barely made it to our table before my mom stormed over. "Linda!" she snapped. Her voice was sharp, controlled, but her eyes were furious. I smiled sweetly. "Mom, I'm so glad you could make it. Isn't it a beautiful day?" "You humiliated your sister," she hissed. Daniel laughed softly. "How exactly?" "She was crying in front of everyone. You set her up." "I don't understand," I said. "We sent invitations months ago. If Emma wasn't on the list, that's not my fault." My father spoke next, voice low and tight. "You've been playing us this whole time." I tilted my head. "Have I?" They stared at me, the realization settling in. They had funded the wedding, walked right into every trap, and Emma had been left out. Then the doors slammed open. Emma burst in, mascara streaked, eyes swollen, still in her regular clothes. No dress, no entrance, just rage. She marched straight to me. "You!" she hissed. I beamed. "Emma, I wasn't sure you were coming." You left me outside, she growled. You ruined everything. You kept my friends out. You destroyed my dress. And now you're acting like I'm the crazy one? The room was silent. My mother reached for her. Sweetheart, maybe— No, Emma yanked away. I want to hear her admit it. Admit what? I asked. That you did this on purpose. I leaned in, my voice low. You did this to yourself. Emma's breath caught. You think you won? I leaned back. I know I did. With a furious scream, Emma grabbed a glass and hurled it toward me, but Daniel caught it mid-air, calm and composed. Gasps echoed. Emma froze. My father grabbed her arm. Enough. My mother looked horrified, and then I heard the murmurs. She's lost it. She's embarrassing herself. This is her fault. Emma's face turned pale. No one was on her side. Daniel placed the glass down and looked at my father. I think it's best if you take her home. He didn't argue. He grabbed Emma's arm and led her away. My mother lingered. I said nothing. Eventually, she followed. The doors shut. Silence. Then, applause. Real, thunderous, triumphant applause. Daniel kissed my forehead. I had never felt so light. So free. The celebration resumed. Music played. Laughter echoed. I danced, surrounded by people who actually loved me. I had spent years chasing approval I would never get. But now, I didn't need it. Not from them. The next morning, before our honeymoon flight, my phone buzzed. Mom. Daniel glanced over. Don't. But I answered. You've really done it this time, she snapped. Mom, if you're calling to lecture me, your sister is devastated. You embarrassed her in front of everyone. How could I said quietly. After everything she's done? She didn't deserve that level of humiliation. Would it really have hurt you to let her walk down the aisle? And there it was. She still believed Emma should have taken my moment. She still didn't see me. Mom, I said, my voice steady. I don't care anymore. Silence. Excuse me? I don't care what you think, or what Dad or Emma say. I'm done. Linda, no. Listen, I spent my entire life as an afterthought in this family, fighting for crumbs, trying to be enough, and I'm done. I won't let you manipulate me anymore. I don't need a place in your family. That's ridiculous. We're your parents. You don't just walk away from family. I smiled. Maybe you shouldn't have treated me like a stranger my whole life. And I hung up. Daniel was watching me. You okay? I breathed in deep. And this time, I meant it. Yeah, I'm good. Because I was. I wasn't angry. I wasn't sad. I was free. As the plane took off, I knew one thing. For sure, I had finally won.